Have you ever walked down a path that seemed ordinary, but held shadows no one dared to face? The forgotten path isn't just a forgotten trail. It hides a dark secret no one talks about. For decades, locals avoided it, whispering about a family that vanished mysteriously. What happened there was more than just disappearance. It was a violation of justice, buried deep beneath silence. When I first stepped onto that cracked, overgrown trail, the air was heavy, like the earth itself was holding its breath. This was not just a place, it was a story waiting to be uncovered, a wound refusing to heal. As I started asking questions, the truth began to unfold. The family's disappearance was no accident. I learned about hidden threats, subtle pressures from those who wanted to erase their existence. An old journal surfaced, filled with coded messages and clues about corrupt forces manipulating the town. Every step down the path felt like peeling back layers of a long-buried secret. The deeper I went, the clearer it became. This path was a silent battlefield where power, fear, and loss collided. The locals' silence wasn't just fear, it was protection, a way to shield themselves from a pain too raw to speak aloud. Determined to bring the truth to light, I confronted those who tried to bury the past. It wasn't an easy fight. Threatening calls, cold stares, and veiled warnings tried to stop me, but I refused to back down. Using the journal and testimonies I gathered, I exposed the corrupt ties that had kept this secret hidden. The confrontation wasn't just about revealing facts, it was about reclaiming dignity for the forgotten family, and for all those silenced. The tension was thick as old wounds reopened, but this fight was necessary. Justice was overdue, and this path needed to be remembered, not erased. Walking away from the forgotten path after all this, I felt a mix of relief and sorrow. The dark secret was no longer buried, but the scars it left would never fully disappear. Yet something changed, not just in me, but in the town. The silence was broken, and with it, hope began to grow. The path that once symbolized fear became a symbol of resilience. When I sit back and remember that trail, I realize this fight wasn't just about uncovering a secret, it was about honoring the truth and those who refuse to be forgotten. This legacy will live on, a quiet strength etched into the very soil of the forgotten path. It all began when I stumbled upon an old, weathered journal while exploring the attic of my recently inherited home. The journal belonged to a woman named Amelia Croft, who had lived in the house nearly a century ago. As I began reading her elegant script, I realized that she was documenting much more than her daily life. Between the lines, I found hints of a darker reality, a reality that suggested the charming town of Oakhaven harbored secrets as deep as its roots. In her journal, Amelia wrote about a peculiar event that had shaken the town to its core. A family, the Caldwells, had mysteriously vanished without a trace. What made this disappearance even more perplexing was that there had been no signs of a struggle or foul play. They simply ceased to exist, as if they were never a part of Oakhaven's tapestry. What was even more shocking was the lack of concern from the townspeople. When asked about the missing family, the locals of Oakhaven either feigned ignorance or abruptly changed the subject, as if the Caldwells' disappearance was a forbidden topic. Driven by curiosity and a sense of injustice, I decided to unravel the mystery that had befallen the Caldwell family. My journey led me to the heart of the town, where I met Sheriff Brody Hayes. Despite his friendly demeanor, he seemed reluctant to discuss the case. He mentioned something about the Caldwell family choosing to move away, but I could sense that there was more to the story than he was letting on. As I delved deeper into my investigation, I discovered a trail of hidden agendas and concealed emotions. An elderly woman named Mrs. Hawthorne, who had been a close friend of Amelia Croft, opened up about the darkness that lurked beneath Oakhaven's picturesque facade. She revealed that the Caldwell family had been threatened, subtly pressured to leave town by influential figures who remained shrouded in secrecy. According to Mrs. Hawthorne, these threats went beyond mere intimidation, implicating powerful individuals who seemed determined to erase the Caldwells from existence. With pieces of the puzzle falling into place, I continued my quest for answers. In the depths of my research, I came across an old photograph that played a pivotal role in unraveling the truth. The image showed a group of prominent Oakhaven residents, including the sheriff's father, standing alongside the Caldwell family during happier times. This discovery unveiled a web of connections and motives, suggesting that the sheriff's family might have been involved in the conspiracy to drive the Caldwells out of town. Driven by the need for justice, I confronted Sheriff Hayes with my findings. Initially taken aback, he eventually confessed to the truth, revealing the extent of his family's involvement in the cover-up. According to Sheriff Hayes, his father had orchestrated the pressure campaign against the Caldwells due to their involvement in a land dispute with powerful individuals in Oakhaven. Caldwells, being innocent and principled, had refused to back down, leading to a series of manipulative tactics designed to force them out. As I absorbed this revelation, I realized that the disappearance was not merely about land, but about control, corruption, and the lengths to which those in power would go to protect their interests. Determined to expose the truth, I worked tirelessly to gather evidence and build a case against those responsible. With each passing day, I uncovered more sinister details, revealing the extent of the conspiracy and the depth of the corruption that had been concealed for years. The weight of my discovery pressed down on me, but I knew that I had to stay resolute. I reached out to local journalists, hoping to shed light on the ordeal. However, they either dismissed my claims as unfounded or outright ignored my attempts to contact them. It became clear that the reach of the conspiracy extended beyond the confines of Oakhaven, influencing even the media that should have upheld the principles of truth and justice. Undeterred, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I published my findings in an online article, exposing the dark secrets lurking beneath Oakhaven's idyllic surface. As the article gained traction, so did the danger. I found threatening notes slipped under my door and anonymous calls warning me to back off. The closer I got to the truth, the darker the threats became. Despite the escalating danger, I refused to be intimidated. With unwavering determination, I continued to investigate, piecing together the fragments of the past to form a complete picture of the Caldwell family's disappearance and the sinister forces that had orchestrated it. Driven by a relentless pursuit of justice, I stood firm in the face of adversity, determined to unveil the truth, no matter the cost. My determination paid off when a team of state investigators, alerted by my findings, arrived in Oakhaven to conduct an independent inquiry. Led by a tenacious investigator named David Kim, the team delved into the town's archives, interviewing residents and examining evidence. As they dug deeper, more secrets surfaced, painting a grim picture of the town's history and its most influential citizens. Investigator Kim's keen eye caught a crucial detail, a discrepancy in the Caldwell family's property records. It seemed as though someone had deliberately tampered with the documents, altering the timeline of events to make the family's disappearance appear as a voluntary departure. Armed with this new evidence, the investigators confronted several key figures in Oakhaven, leading to a series of dramatic confessions. Among those who succumbed to the weight of the evidence was the current mayor, who admitted to being involved in pressuring the Caldwells. As more confessions poured in, a clear picture of the conspiracy emerged, revealing the extent to which the town's elite had gone to protect their own. With the investigation reaching its climax, the final piece of the puzzle fell into place. The sheriff's father, the mastermind behind the plot, confessed to forging the documents that altered the Caldwell family's history. His motive, to safeguard his own legacy and protect the town's fragile peace by any means necessary. In the aftermath of the investigation, justice began to take its course. Those involved in the conspiracy faced criminal charges, bringing them to justice and holding them accountable for their actions. The forged documents were replaced with the truth, ensuring that the Caldwell family's story would be remembered and honored. As Oakhaven began to heal, a sense of relief washed over me. The veil of secrecy had been lifted, and the town could finally begin the process of reckoning with its past. But the ordeal took its toll, leaving deep scars on the community. The trust that had once bound the residents together was broken, replaced by suspicion and guarded glances. In the quiet moments, I couldn't help but wonder about the profound impact this case had on me. The relentless pursuit of justice had consumed my thoughts and emotions, leaving me forever changed by the darkness I had uncovered. Yet amidst the pain and disillusionment, a glimmer of hope emerged. The courage of the townspeople to confront the truth and seek justice brought them closer together. And in unity, they began to rebuild their community, vowing to honor the memory of the Caldwell family and ensure that their sacrifice was not in vain. As I look back on the journey through Oakhaven, I am reminded of the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. The courage of those who sought justice, the resilience of those who endured, and the power of truth to prevail, while the scars of the past may never fully heal. The journey through Oak Haven has taught me that hope and healing can bloom even in the darkest of places.